And what I need you to consider is, what do you want for the future from the network? What are your priorities? What level of involvement do you want yourselves? And there are some very specific questions around the delegates. We've suggested one delegate and one substitute, or should there be two delegates? We need to know your views on that as well. And your facilitators on each table have some other questions. What are your positive impressions of the new network structure? Can you see any potential issues with the proposed new network structure? And are there any other changes you would like to make? For example, the name, staffing, whatever it may be. So some very specific questions that you need to consider. The final thing that I need to do before you start to discuss it in groups is there is a second option. And the second option is that there is no network. Now, that is a real option for you to consider. Do you want the network to continue to exist? Do you think this new structure is the way that it should do, or do you think there should be no network? And we need the answer to those questions, please. You have slightly less than 40 minutes, so good luck with your deliberations, and we look forward to your feedback.
On this table, some people missed that it was the fact this wasn't just about the network coming together for the partnership. It was actually about the third sector coming together in Sunderland. It wasn't clear from the document. Didn't see where the members are going to be involved. They saw the structure and the thoughts behind the delegates, but didn't quite see where the other members are going to be involved. Some people said it was more simplified. They could see that the mist cleared and that they had a better understanding. It seemed to be more understandable. Question clarification of whether the forum's views have fed into this, and are they understanding the structure themselves. I did explain around that we were unsure about the area arrangement, so we sort of worked hand in hand because we didn't know what shape the voluntary sector forums could be. Missing link, how can ordinary local general folk get involved? A comment that members of the network, it always seems to be staff, and could it be that we could welcome and encourage more to become involved? I think the comment was other committee members or other members of their management groups, but the other comment was, well, if you take away the paid public sector workers today, there'll not be many people left in the room. I think times and dates when the meetings are held for the partnership meetings is sometimes a total barrier. If it's a certain day, a certain time, and those delegates can't go, then there isn't anybody representing the voluntary sector at those meetings. Feedback from delegates. I think it will be good to have the monthly meetings, and more rather than coming and saying that happened in the meeting, just particular issues, matters of concern. I think other people say it looks quite a scary structure when you first look at it. Perhaps introduction and awareness to coming into the network, to explaining the structure and the theory behind it. And to have maybe sessions, one about the network, but obviously two was to look at who to contact once the people are in place, so that they're familiar with who they are and how to get hold of them.
We do intend to have at least 2 assemblies every year where everybody can come together and meet and network and discuss and bring forward issues, sort of voluntary sector assemblies, if you like, throughout the city. So we do intend that everybody can be involved. Can I ask Ian?
There is a commitment to networking, and ideally that would be through the network, but networking citywide is still a critical thing that we all recognise as being important. The table generally welcomed the new proposal, provided that, and there's words like, it was a strong voice, that it had, in quotes, teeth, that it had, in quotes, clout, and that we certainly made sure that wherever possible, feedback was as was short, sharp, but intelligible right throughout the network without people being completely overloaded. There was a very strong comment about how in the past the network had the dual role of representation but also development as well. One thing that we hope is that the new network structure will create space for the network to exist, but for those organisations who are involved, say like CVS or Volunteers Centre, in developing people and in developing skills, will be able to link into that so that there's a very clear progression route, particularly if we have new people on the scene who we want to upskill and to make sure